Alright guys, so welcome back to this video. Now we've seen what a trading plan is, and we've talked about how important trading plan is for our trading activities. You can't trade without a plan. Obviously, if you don't have a plan, especially when it comes to trading, then you're definitely gambling in the markets. You have to work with a plan, and trading plan does not only tell you what to do, it also shows you what not to do. So that is one of the most important things you must know about a trading plan. So I have a copy of my own trading plan right here. I want to show you how I normally use it, and then you don't have to copy it. You can actually find a way of creating something like this alongside your personality, because what may work for me may not necessarily work for you. So everything I've done so far is to show you some of the things I use, and then you can also draft something out of that to make your own personalized trading plan. So I captured quite a number of things. I have like 8 items here on my trading plan, and a trading plan is simply a document that guides you on what you should do. And then anytime you are doing something out of that, you should know that you're being impulsive with your trading decisions. So starting with the markets and time frame of interest, I normally will have some assets under my watch. Your watch list is very important. I trade from London to New York. So these assets are some of the assets that move mostly during those sessions of the day. Looking at the London session, I mostly will look at GBP USD and then Euro USD. These are the two currencies I look at during these hours of the day. So if I have any setup, especially in the London session on Euro USD or GBP USD, I will be glad to take that trade most of the time. But then that doesn't mean that I don't look at gold and USD JPY during the London session. I simply will prioritize Euro USD and GBP USD. Now, what do I do first? I start by looking at top-down analysis perspective. You remember your top-down analysis, but then I look at the higher time frame bias, most especially the daily time frame and the 4-hour time frame. I look at what is the bias on these time frames, and then my time frame of execution is mostly the 5-minute time frame or the 15-minute time frame. If I am trading within the London kill zone hour, I use the 5-minute time frame for trade execution. But if it is outside the London kill zone hour, I use the 15-minute time frame. So you see, this is the session and timing. I trade only during London session and New York. I don't trade Asia, and it's part of my rules and I stand by it. My best trading days are mostly Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do take trades on Mondays, but they're not always, just once in a while. And one of the things I try to avoid are high impact news. You see, CPI, FOMC, NFP, these are the news I don't trade. No matter how, once I see this news coming out, I try to avoid trading activities 1 hour to the news or 1 hour after the news. And I don't trade late Fridays, especially during the close of the week. I don't do that. And then my directional bias mostly comes from the daily time frame or the 4-hour time frame. I define my premium and discount using range, high and low. All these things I've shown you how to do that, but then I'm just showing you how it reflects on my trading plan. You see the setups and trade entry model. The required condition is liquidity sweep, equal highs and lows, sessions highs or lows, or break of structure for trend continuation. Let me show you an example of what I have here on my chart. This is something I saw today, and I want us to use this for example. I was looking at USD JPY today earlier, and I wanted to analyze it based on what I have on my trading plan. You see, this is from the weekly. Let's look at the weekly time frame. I have the weekly time frame trying to target you see this liquidity. This is a buy side liquidity resting for a while. That buy side liquidity is one of the reasons why price is insisting on going up. Now, if you look at this place, we have another liquidity that price cleared. You see this? And this is one of the reasons why we have price massively being rejected. But then what I want to target is eventually to target this guy. Do you see that guy? So if I have price go there, that is my target eventually. So I'm going to look at the daily time frame and find a way of analyzing my way into that guy. So what I will do is I want to take a trade into that particular liquidity area, that buy side liquidity. Since I've cleared this particular one, now my next target is the one up there. If I have had an opportunity to take this, then it's fine. Now I can have another one. You can see that this is a break of structure. I have this area being a, what do you call this? A fair value gap. If you look at this very closely from your analysis, this is a mitigation block formation. This one, you see that? This looks like a mitigation block, right? So that area becomes an area of interest for me, because if price comes there, I'm going to take that trade. So what does it show on my trading plan? Does it show that I'm working with that? Yes. You see, I have a break of structure for trend continuation, and that's a trend continuation. I have a fair value gap where I'm supposed to mark out for my trade entry. Just like I said I was going to prioritize fair value gaps breaker blocks, mitigation blocks, and then I was going to mark out all these guys from the higher time frame. Now, if you look at this carefully, let me show you from this entry only after confirmation, not yet. Now, what I normally would do is that I would drop down to the lower time frame, the 4-hour time frame. That is the second time frame of interest. That place becomes more interesting. So I will refine this area to become a very interesting area. You see this one, this fair value gap, very interesting. So I want to see price come to this fair value gap or this other one, because everything I have here, these two guys are resting on the discount area of price. Because if I'm looking at this price moved and retraced, the swing low is this guy and the swing high is going to be here. So the two of them are resting there, but then I'm going to prioritize either of them depending on what price does at the entry point. So I'm going to wait for price to come down here, and on the 15-minute time frame, wait for what? Confirmation. Whichever of these, okay, this one, you can see if this one gives me a shifting structure, then I'm going to use this. But then if it doesn't give me shifting structure, price is going to come down here and give me a shifting structure, and then I'm going to use it. That is why I said I was going to work with what? Strict confirmation for entry. I'm not going to chase any trade. I'll have to wait for shifting market structure before I can finally enter. Then my risk management. I normally should risk 1% maximum, but then it depends on what I have. I can risk 0.5% per trade, and then per session. Minimum risk to reward I target most of the time is the minimum is 1:2, and then I go above that. Stop loss must be technical and predefined. I have to do these things before taking trade, because once you take trade, you can only do trade management. You can't do risk management once you've activated your trades. Now, this is trade management. I can do partials once price goes to the next high, and then I'll move my stop loss to break even. That's trade management for you. I move my stop loss to break even and allow the trade to move, because most of the time I do day trading. Then the 7th rule is my discipline. No setup, no trade. That's my rule. No revenge trading over trading. Trade only when I'm calm and focused. I don't trade when maybe I just feel like trading and then I pick my phone and activate trade. Now I take time, at least 2 hours in a day, to analyze my chart, to look at what is happening, and then I finally activate my trade. Then finally, when I finish taking the trade, I take time to journal it and then put down whatever I have noticed about that trade, and then on the weekend I will go through everything I have done. So I'm going to attach this with your learning materials so you can see how it works. Then I hope this is going to help you to get your own personal trading plan and work with it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Let's jump to the next chapter and finish whatever we have here.